Hi guys, how are you all? So today's video is on a comparison between the big fours versus the other consulting companies. So guys, I will not be doing this video alone. So I have an expert with me. So I will have CA Ashish Agarwal with me in some time from now. So he will be talking about how a big four is and how is everything in a big four, and I will be talking about how is everything in a company other than a big four. So we both will talk about certain parameters. We will discuss both of these things, big four and other consulting companies, on the basis of 4 to 5 different parameters. So he will give his point of view and I will give my point of view, and then you guys will be in a much better position to decide if you want to opt for a big four or not, if you want to opt for an other than a big four company or not. Okay, so we will make this decision easy for you. So Ashish is also a chartered accountant, and since the beginning of his career till now, he has been working with different big fours only. Okay, and I also have been working with other than a big four company since the beginning of my career till now. Okay, so now I will call Ashish and then we will start our discussion.
Hi Disha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so Ashish, since this video is a comparison between Big Four versus other consulting companies, and I have
Mhm.
already given a brief introduction about you, but still, I would like you also to introduce yourself to the audience once, and then we can start with the topic.
Sure, sure. Hello everyone. Hello to all the subscribers and the viewers from this channel. So myself, Ashish Agarwal. So I have an experience of 2.5 years working with Big Fours. Like I've worked across two of the Big Fours in the industry. So I think that would be the relevant introduction from this video perspective. I think Disha, we can start the ball rolling.
So thanks, Ashish. So we'll be talking about this on the basis of 4 different parameters. Okay, so we'll go one
Mhm.
by one, and maybe you can start with talking about your experience in Big Four with respect to that parameter, and then I can also share my views for other than Big Fours. Okay, so we'll start with the first parameter. So the first parameter is learning, basically. So how do you
Okay.
think, or what
Mhm.
do you think is the learning that is there in a big four as per you?
Okay, so I will just take a step back before answering to this question, like coming from a mediocre firm from an architecture perspective and then hitting the ball roll for a big four. So I think the learning experience is more from a specialization perspective. Like when you work from big four, you get to know in and out about a specific domain or maybe specific sector or maybe a specific industry. Additionally, I think the coaching or the guidance that is being provided by the seniors over there is something I think is comparatively far better than what we were provided in our architecture period. So I think these two are good parameters to look on from a specialization perspective, and the guidance and the coaching that you get is exceptional over there in the Big Fours.
Okay.
How about you, Disha? What do you feel about consulting as a thing?
Yeah. So, as per my experience that I have had in other than a big four company, so see, in terms of learning, my learning was not restricted to a particular industry. So it was not always like that. But I have been exposed to, I think, 3 to 4 different industries till now. And there's nothing specific that I
Mm.
will be only working for a manufacturing industry or a hospitality or something like that. So it was a mixed bag, basically. So I had exposure to internal audits, and I also had exposure to SOX as well, IFC as well, some SOP preparation, ICF preparation. So all types of work I was able to do in the tenure, and plus different types of industries as well. So I feel it was easier for me to explore all the industries and then decide that what is the exact industry that I want to go for. Then in terms of guidance from seniors, I feel yes, that was also there. I mean, I don't know if it is similar to what is there in a big four, but generally we used to have 2 to 3 rounds of reviews in each and every project. And there were some projects as well where we were independently given certain tasks and certain work to do, and we only had like started it, and then we only had concluded it. I mean, there was no role of anybody much apart from me and the team that was working with me. So I think in terms of learning, I think there's a variety of work that we do that is there, but comparatively I feel it is a little less standardized, maybe. So it is not that it's very specific that this is how you need to prepare the report or this is how you need to approach the client. So that is a little less
Mhm.
standardized is what I feel.
Maybe also like what I can add to that is maybe the value output that is being derived from a Big Four assignment, or maybe I think it would be much not exactly much higher, but I think it would be presented in a manner that would reflect to be of a much higher value to the client. Uh, so I think that is
Yes.
also a great thing to look for, the presentation skills or the articulation skills that you learn up. And also I think you bring up a great interpersonal skills when it's come to your overall like career building or something like that. You directly get to interact with the heads of one of the Fortune 500 companies. Like you are dealing with some, like say for example, let's say XYZ company CEOs, CFOs directly. So I think you channelize over there and you learn a lot over there in that perspective. And I think with every good things also comes a negative, like the competition over there in Big Four is cutthroat. So you have to always be on your toes just to outperform others and show that what is your worth that you bring on the table to the team. Otherwise, and you will be lost in the storm and remain being a mediocre.
Yes, and here, other than Big Fours, I would say that your visibility is much more than it is compared to a Big Four. I feel you are much more visible to the higher management. But yes, in terms of exposure to clients and good clients and big projects, I think that is, of course, where Big Four would lead here.
Yeah, I agree. So, like, even if we can just go on deliberating on this and we won't come to a conclusion. It's always
Yeah,
a open-ended debate, and I think it would be always a person-driven approach. Like, as in, let's say, if I could like consulting and you can like Big Four, so it would be more
right.
from a person approach, like how they approach it.
Yeah. Okay. So Ashish, with this, I
Hmm.
think we can move to the next parameter. So the next parameter
Sure.
on which we would like to discuss is of work-life balance. So how do you think is your work-life balance in Big Four?
I think you know it. I think it's miserable. Depends upon the situation and to the client as well. But yeah, generally, I think a slog of 12 to 14 hours is a normal daily routine. And like, okay, barring weekends. So on weekends, you get to live your life wherein at least either of Sunday or Saturday, you have to work for 8 hours just to be on your toes on Monday. Otherwise, like once the client is starting, you don't have to face so much of traumas. But once you are in the middle of the engagement and and when you lead toward the closer, the pressure is too high. I think you know that like you won't get so much of time to meet your family. Maybe you are traveling across, like there's so much traveling involved in this one. And additionally the work pressure is too high because of the quality that they want to deliver. Let's say what happens, like you have prepared the report and you think that the report is top notch and the presentation is within 5 days, so you have a review with your director or the partner, and the partner comes up and says, oh, this is not up to the mark, so you have to re-perform multiple things in the last 4 nights. So there could be like where you are pulling up all-nighters. So I think everyone knows about this, and I will be very honest, the life is not that great. But yeah, on some engagements, you could see that the life is pretty much chill, where the people are working for 8.5 hours or maybe 9 hours in a week, and it's going on. smooth, like because I've like lately I've seen people saying no, our life is pretty much chill. So it depends upon the department and the engagement that you are engaged into. But on a general scale, I think 10 to 12 hours of slogging is a mandate and before.
Okay, okay. So if I talk about my experience on in terms of work life balance, so I would say I think obviously 8 to 10 hours is something that is minimum. I wouldn't say it is 10 to 12 hours, but yes, depending upon the client requirement, we need to stretch ourselves. We might need to work on weekends also. But yes, comparatively, I mean, slogging at nights and late nights is very less for us. I mean, not that much that I need to do that for every week or multiple times in a month. No, but yes, it is not as per the actual working hours that are there. So if it is 9:30 to 6:30, no, it's not 9:30 to 6:30. It is actually 9:30 to 8 or 8:30, and it sometimes it extends to 9 or 10 as well. Okay, Saturdays and Sundays is generally off, but Saturdays we might have to work for half a day or sometimes even full day. So that is how it is.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so
So I,
comparatively I think
so I think
it's,
it's more
yeah,
could be
it's more or less
like a
similar.
variance of yeah. So it could be a variance of around an hour or so, but I think the pressure is quite similar on both the sides. I think in a client-facing role, I think you can never estimate the pressure. So it would be very unfair to say that you don't have the pressure in consulting because I've seen your lifestyle and I know how much you slog. There are days when like I log off at 10 and you are like working at 1 a.m. still. So there's no comparison in this. What this is what I feel like when you are in a client-facing role. Yeah, there could be something different when you are in a role where you don't face the client or something like that. But for me, I
Yeah,
think both are
but
similar.
still, I feel that Big Four is comparatively a little more than other firms. I still feel that Big Four is a little more, and it also depends on the team
Okay, yeah.
actually you're working with.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there could be scenarios now where like a completely. I think the regularity of the slogging that we have in Big Four is something that you don't have in the consulting firms,
Yes,
other
yes,
consulting firms. I think I will agree to that. But yeah, at
yes,
times the slogging is bad at both the places.
yeah. Okay, okay. So Ashish, I think we can move to the next parameter. So next parameter would be on the monetary growth. So how do you think is the monetary growth in Big
Hmm.
Four?
Okay, I think every fresher who becomes a chartered accountant must have heard from their seniors or maybe their relatives that the growth over there in Big Four is quite good. See, if you are above average performer, let's say if you are out of a rater of five, rating of five, if you are a one or two rater, that's the best. So I think you are paid enough, sufficiently enough, and I think they are the best player in the market who are paying you very high. Or maybe you are starting at a very lower band, maybe from, compared to the industries. I'm not comparing it with the consulting firms. From an industry perspective, you start at a lower band, but I think like 4 5 years down the line, I think you'll be earning much more than the person earning in the industry. And I think the best part is like over here you have an facility to get promoted every year or in a year or two. So I think the zeal to work or maybe the I think the appreciation value that you have is commendable over there in Big Four.
Okay, okay. So
How
Ashish,
about the
in
consulting world, Krishna?
Yeah. So Ashish, in terms of monetary growth, I think I think everybody knows. So Big Four is comparatively paying higher than the other consulting firms. So obviously, if we also compare our starting packages, so obviously mine was lesser than what yours was. Okay. So if you start from a Big
Mm-hmm.
Four, you will definitely get more than compared to the other. So that is of course one thing. Then whatever increments you get or whatever appraisals you get, I think that is totally depending upon everyone's individual performance. And I think in terms of percentage of appraisal and all, I think that is very subjective. I mean, that depends on company to company and what kind of a year that company had gone through. So but yeah, the starting is comparatively lesser than a big four, I would say. And in terms of promotions, because I feel there is more visibility over here, so you get to maybe grow a little faster, or that also totally depends upon what kind of seniors you're working with, and is your work getting that kind of results or not. So that is my point of
No.
view.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the ladder is similar across the board. I think they have the similar parameters. It's just about your visibility and your working pattern, how you work, and how satisfied the organization is with your work. That will help you grow in any of the organization, like whether it's a big four or it's a consulting firm. I think the benchmarking or the parameters are same everywhere.
Yeah, and I feel that I think comparatively the perks and all are higher in a big four. I think with the
Hmm.
incentives that you get and some kind of rewards that you get, or maybe
Hmm.
your offsites are better than our offsites. I think these kind of
Oh,
things, those
I think
additional things, I
offsite.
think.
I'd agree with that, but the offsites are now a scam. I think we don't get any offsites anymore due to thanks to the COVID. But can't help it. I think there could be one more thing, like you get to travel at good locations. Like I was
Yeah,
traveling abroad a year back, so you get to travel to good locations for the client work. That is also a perk, but all thanks to COVID, I think this has made the ground parallel for both consulting firms and Big Four as well. I think everyone is doing the same model, working on Zoom calls, team calls. So I think it's now similar. We don't have that advantage anymore.
yeah. Okay. So, Ashish, I think now we move to the last parameter that we have. So that is on the
Hmm.
brand value. So
Hmm.
I think so. Before even we start with it, I think you are going to win this conversation, but still we would like to hear from you.
There's no winning thing. I think I think it's all about the person, how or she approaches a thing. Like let's say, see, even if I talk about the brand value of yours or the organization you are working with, is not that something you can compare. Always compare with the big four. I think if you go into the market and say that you are working with XYZ consulting firm, you know how many offers you can pick. I think I am nowhere to say that right now on this call, but even you know how many offers you can grab with that. Yeah, okay. I think maybe the name of the Big Four sounds very fancy in the market, but I think every organization has their own brand value. Could be like if you rate on a scale of 10, you can rate the brand value of Big Four in maybe 9, or the consulting firms as 6 or 7. So I think there's not a very big win battle what they carry on, but yeah, it's all about how well you have grown in that organization, how well you have prepared yourself as a brand, because ultimately you are a product, right? Once you are associated with maybe EY or maybe PwC or Deloitte or KPMG, you are a person of that organization. But once you are done, you are a product of your own. How, like, what was the learning that you imbibed? So basically, it's more from not from a brand value of that organization, but we should focus on making ourselves a brand or maybe an excellent product which can be sold out in the market once we leave that particular brand. I could have digressed from the point, but yeah, I think that I feel from a brand value perspective.
Okay. So I think I agree with you, Ashish, like you rated it. So on a scale of 10, of course, Big Four would stand at 9 and other consulting firms would stand at 6 or 7. Not very much difference. But yes, there is a difference because if you go in future and if you say that you're from a Big Four, you worked in a Big Four, so of course that counts a lot in the market. So that is one thing that I feel. Okay. So, Ashish, I think we have covered all the parameters that we had to, and we had a great conversation. I hope this is going to help each and every viewer, and they will be able to take the decision now in a better way. So, any point that you would like to make, or any views that you have?
I think a concludatory remark would be just like don't go with a blind end opinion that big fours are a scam or maybe the consulting firms don't give you that much of learning. Every organization has their own way of doing work. Like if an organization is there, they always strive to win. Maybe from a Big Four perspective, you must be hearing from your seniors or maybe your mentors that Big Fours are excellent or something like that. But it's all about subjective with a team, as in it all depends upon the boss you are working for, the team you are working with. It's not about the organization, it's about the people you work for or the clients you work on. So keep those things also, like one should keep those things also in mind before taking a decision whether they should join a consulting firm or maybe a big four firm.
Yeah, correct.
So I think that would be a
Absolutely.
concluding remark from my end. What about you? How I understand that we both don't have a common answer to give them. So I think it would be great if we can conclude on something.
Yeah, I think I totally agree to what you mentioned. So it actually depends on what team you're working with, what person boss you're working with, on what client you're working with. So, but yeah, if you want to be specific about that, I want to have a work life balance, or maybe I want to have this brand value. If you have something specific in mind, then you can choose like whatever is relevant. Otherwise, you can make a wise decision considering all the parameters and what is suiting you in that situation. I think that is there. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, and one
So
more thing
yeah.
that I think the viewers or maybe the students can do is like where we have discussed the four parameters. So you can make a matrix out of it, like considering the organization that you are looking for, and you can give each and every, like the standard weightage would be 25% to each of the parameters, and then maybe you can, as per your convenience, let's say if you find learning as to be of paramount importance, maybe you can give it a score of let's say 20%, 30% or something like that, and accordingly you can mix match or make a permutation combination out of that uh, percentages and prepare your own grid and then see where do you want to go. So I think that could be an evaluation parameter rather than someone you are using someone else judgment and making a decision for yourself.
Yes, yes, I think that is also 100% correct. That is the best way actually to evaluate if you are where you are actually wanting to go, if that is the right organization for you or not, if all your criterias and parameters are fitting into that organization or not. So I think that is very important. Okay. So thank you so much, Ashish, for giving your time. And I hope this video helps each and every one of you watching. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and also share it with your friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dasha. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.